Well, we continue live from Peoria, Arizona. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. And it wouldn't be spring training, wouldn't be complete if we didn't get a chance to speak with one of our favorites here, Dave. Of course, we're talking about the one, the only Cal Raleigh is here with us. How are you, man?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. I know you were waiting for us to approach you. Like, when are you gonna invite me on your show, right?
Yeah. I had to.
You couldn't wait.
Waiting for the invite.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to have you. It's interesting watching, everybody around here, especially some of the more prominent players like yourself. Feels like you're you got to be somewhere at all times. You're out there working with the pitchers, then you're in here getting treatment, then you're doing a fashion show, and then you're talking to us. I mean, are your days pretty much full every day of, okay, I got to be here at this time. You got a strict schedule every single day?
Yeah, they're pretty routine oriented. So, I've learned kind of over the years, spring training, trying to find ways to try to get ready for the season, and obviously in season you like to be kind of in that routine as well, and just try to do the same thing every day so I can get my body ready for the season, so I can go in, hot to start the season. So pretty much it.
Can you play linebacker, Cal?
I think I'm more of a tight end type.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think you're an offensive guy? Seahawks need some linebackers right now. We're
maybe
looking for
maybe outside linebacker, maybe.
Yeah. Are you are you healthy? I mean, everything good to go? Does that you take care of that? Is that like first and foremost when you go into the off season?
Yeah. So feel great. My body's in a good spot. Worked out hard this off season. Feel great right now. Knock on wood, but. My body's in a good place. Been lifting, running on the field. Good game shape so far, and continuing to build up here these next couple of weeks.
What is this time of year like when you're not established? We get emails from the Mariners each day about, all right, this guy's been reassigned to minor league camp. This guy's been reassigned, and I'm sure these guys are, man, do I have a shot to make the team? It's probably a nervous time, or what? When you were coming up, what was this time like for you?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I don't even think about it now. And obviously, look back over the past years, it's a nervous time. It's kind of you'd be lying to say if you weren't thinking about things like that. Who are they going to keep? Who they're not going to keep? Who's going to go here, there? And, but the best thing to try to do is just try to, eliminate all that stuff. You can't really control a lot of things. And the best thing you could do is take care of yourself, take care of your house, and make sure that you're doing the right things each day. You're trying to get better each day because, there might already be a plan for you in place. There's no chance you were going to break camp with the team or you weren't going to break with this level or affiliate. So really the whole spring training thing is you're not trying to, impress to go up or try to make a squad or something. You want to try to impress because you're playing so well and your daily routine and everything that you do is getting you better each day, and then the rest of it takes care of itself.
Do they tell you if they send you down to say, hey, Cal, we need you got to work on X, Y, and Z? Do they give you some instruction as to or why they sent you down, or is it just, hey, you're going down, man?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. So obviously you got prospects, you got guys who are fringe, big league, AAA type, and then so everybody's different. Sometimes you're not getting sound because you didn't do good. It's just because you're young and you're just not ready. And other times it's, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. We think you need to get better in this area. So every scenario is different. Every person is different. So can't really speak to one certain one, but. Yeah, there were times where people sent me down like, hey, we want to see you improve in this area. Or in this player plan meeting, talk about you need to get better hitting or catching, a certain facet of that, and that's kind of how it goes.
Cal, kind of interesting into the season last year and going into the first part of your off season. Tell us about the visit with Scott. He. And I think he's done that before, but that was new to me anyway, that he went and visited you and Logan and Luis Castillo. And do you have a special connection with him because you're both catchers? But tell us about that visit right there and what was said.
It was just essentially talking about where the team's at. It wasn't anything crazy as far as, nothing that was new or significant, just kind of talking about where the team was at the time, what they were looking to do as far as what he knew, and just trying to get on the same page, which I know some of the guys definitely appreciated that because, you don't like to be left in the dark, especially when, you're playing for the team every day in and day out, and you're trying to make the playoffs and all that stuff. So, it was nice to be communicated with and kind of be in the loop on things, and not left in the dark. So it's good.
You after the season, you had your meeting with the media. I was standing right there when you said what you said after the season, and so many fans went, "That's our guy. That's what we want to hear." They just want to hear that you're as disappointed as they are and all that. It sort of turned you into like the voice of the team. I mean, you became in that moment to me deemed one of the leaders and one of the guys who speaks out when, good or bad. Is that a role that you're comfortable with? Did you sense that at all on the heels of those comments that you were sort of viewed differently, like you're kind of propped up as a voice of the team?
No, I don't feel like that's something I was maybe going for or trying to bring light to a certain area. I wasn't trying to do that at all. It was just I want to win, and I was just being honest and just I think it was just coming from everybody in that clubhouse. Everybody wants to win. We were very upset, especially with the Rangers beating us, and everybody was pretty. We were in a dark place there, and it was tough to end the season like that. And we came really, really close, and we unfortunately didn't get it done, and nobody really wants to hear that. So, but we have so many great leaders on this team. Like I've said this before. You got JP, you got Ty, you got look at like Mitch Haniger, Mitch Garver, guys coming in, guys who have been there, done that, and I'm comfortable in whatever role that I need to be in. As long as we're winning games and I'm doing my job and helping the team win, if I need to speak up, I'll speak up. If not, I won't. So. But, we just got to be honest with ourselves sometimes. And, when we're not playing well, we need to address that. And that's kind of where it was coming from.
Does this feel different this year? What's the most significant thing that you've noticed about coming back and the team that they put together? And, some of the guys like, you mentioned the two Mitches. What stands out about this that's different than years past for you?
I think the attention to detail from the very beginning of camp is kind of the thing that sticks out to me. I think in the past maybe we've come into camp and maybe try to get our feet wet here and there and then try to ramp up towards the end and go into the season. I feel like from day one guys were ready to go here. People were eager to get on the field, to get in games, to get live at bats, to everything, weight room, it doesn't matter. Everybody's been really excited, really eager around here to get going, and you kind of seen it so far on the field, and I think it's been great. I think it's been great having guys here and guys playing every single day and guys making adjustments and having the meetings that we've been having with the Brant Brown and just from the hitter side of things, and obviously the pitchers doing the things that they've always done. So
you bring up Brant Brown and the title of offensive coordinator is not something you hear in baseball. You hear that in football a lot. What's his role? Are you guys interacting with him as hitters every day and just talking about your approach, or what's his role with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's if the offense coordinator is just kind of a silly word or whatever it might be for baseball, but he's a hitting coach, and so he's with us in the cages every day, game planning, talking strategy, not just hitting, talking base running, all the areas of kind of the offensive role, and does a really good job with game planning and scouting reports against pitchers and trying to figure out how we're going to beat this guy. What are we going to do to him? What's his strengths? What are his weaknesses? This, et cetera, where to look, vice versa. But he's doing a great job so far. I know a lot of guys are bought in. I think what he brings to the table is something new and something fresh that I think a lot of guys are liking.
Everybody knows how great you are working with the pitchers. Is there any one guy that kind of stands out that you're like, wow, this guy, whether it's Miller or Wu or some of the young guys that you're like, hey, this is different, anything that stands out from some of the younger guys especially?
Yeah, I mean, I look at like a Bryce Miller yesterday, through some of his splitters, got to catch those in the game for the first time, did really well. Pitch looks good, kind of like, you can kind of compare it to Logan last year with his splitter. I think it's really going to help him. Obviously, I know you guys talked a lot about it, and but I don't think there's a certain area maybe that guys I'm looking at. I'm just looking at kind of their growth and looking at like a Wu, Miller, Emerson, kind of seeing how they're developing, how they're starting to handle themselves a little more after being exposed to the big leagues for a short period of time last year, and they're really exciting pitchers, and I'm excited to see them take the next step. I'm excited to see Logan and George take the next step too. Look at George, made an All-Star team last year. Logan had another great year. just kind of establishing themselves in the league, and I just really want them to keep taking that next step. That way they can become the best they can. So,
how surprised, if at all, maybe you weren't surprised by what they were able to do in the offseason? Because once we heard, hey, the budget's not what they thought it was going to be, it's going to have to be pulled back, and then Gino goes, and Robbie goes, and Marco goes, and Jared goes. We're going, my goodness, what's going on here? And it felt like you were going to have to give up Wu or Miller or maybe even Logan to get what you needed offensively. And somehow they were able to bring in guys who can be difference makers as long as they're healthy and not give up any of those guys. It felt like kind of a magic trick almost, considering that they were limited financially. Were you dialed in as that was going on? Were you worried, or were you, as you sit here now, are you pleasantly surprised? Where are you at with all the offseason moves?
Yeah, I mean, to keep the core of starting pitchers intact was huge for us. Obviously you're sitting there in the off season and you have no control over what's happening, so you're just kind of sitting there patiently waiting, seeing what's going to go down. And it was kind of when we did talk to Scott and some other people, it was telling kind of the plan and what's going to happen here and what they're trying to do. And obviously things change and teams change and needs and wants change. So just kind of seeing how everything unfolded. I think making those additions late were huge for us. I know people weren't very happy early on, especially losing some guys that have been part of the team for a long time. But, I really feel good about this group right now. I think the key is definitely we need to stay healthy. I think everybody knows that, and I know our training staff does a great job of that, and so far so good in camp.
Cal, what'd you do in the off season? Anything exciting other than rehabbing and all that and working out? Anything that you did that was fun?
You take away, you get done with the season and try to take a step back, get away from the game for a little bit. So for me, I like to go golf. Did some golfing, ended up buying a house out here in Arizona. So first house, and after that, spent some time with the family during the holidays, but kind of went right back to work. I knew there were a lot of things I want to work on. I knew getting off to a slow start last year, especially with the thumb, I couldn't do a whole lot in spring training with it. So coming in this year, I came in, I feel like I've never been more ready coming into a season than I have this year, especially getting that kind of early start in January and really doing a lot of baseball stuff and being out here and being around the right people and the right places. So it's been good.
So are you becoming a do-it-yourselfer now that you're a homeowner?
DIY?
Are you a guy that does mows your own lawn and whatnot?
Well, luckily there's no grass here in Arizona, so I don't have to do anything.
You move your own rocks and plant your own cactus?
No, I've done some normal homeowner stuff so far. I had to buy some things and fix some things.
Become a Home Depot guy.
Yeah, Home Depot. My dad got me some tools for Christmas, so that's what you get when you grow up. You just get tools. So you get excited,
tools and underwear.
Excited about those, yeah.
Now, you said you go golfing. You're a switch hitter. Do you golf right-handed, left, or do you go both?
No, just right.
Just right?
Yeah.
Where you at? Were you in the 80s?
Yeah. I shot a 86 the other day.
Really?
Yeah, wildfire. So
did you ever try left-handed?
I've tried it, but I mean, I started golfing after college, and it was just always right-handed clubs. Especially when you're growing up, you just see a club, you pick it up, it's a right-handed club. So it was just always right-handed. So I need to perfect that side before I start switching over to left.
That'd be a cool trick, though. Mid-round, all of a sudden he's teeing off left-handed. Everybody's going, what the hell's happening?
Maybe one feels better than the other one day. So who knows?
That's unbelievable that you can hit from both sides of the plate. I can't imagine. It seems like the hardest thing to do in sports anyway is hit a ball. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean hitting a ball in general is not easy, especially when it's coming in at 100 miles an hour and moving 20-something inches, and it's not easy.
Do you split? Are you even in terms of your time in the cage? Like, all right, I'm taking 20 swings right-handed, 20 swings left-handed, or is it? How do you balance that?
It just goes. It depends on the day. So maybe one day is I'm taking 60% swings on the left side, 40% on the right side. And some days it's 50-50. Some day maybe it might be a little heavier if I want to work on something. So it's just more about managing workload, making sure that, because I have two swings, because I'm catching, because I'm doing all these things that are kind of taxing on my body, I got to make sure that when I am in the cage, I'm doing the right things. I'm I'm getting the most out of what I'm doing, and I'm not just in there taking, mindless swings and just continually doing that. Because that was kind of my first, when I was in camp to start, when I first got to camp, my first camp in 2019, I remember I was just taking swings and swings and swings after swings. And at one point, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just swinging, and I was killing myself. I was just doing so much, and throw bullpens on top of that, and so you really have to become conscious of making sure that you're doing the right drills, you're doing the right things, and you're getting what you need and getting out of there.
I've talked to a couple other guys that were switch hitters, and some of them use a different bat depending on right or left-handed. It might be lighter, or it might be shorter. Do you use the same bat?
Yeah, I use the same bat from both sides. So they, I haven't really ventured too far into that. As far as they both feel good in my hand, so I don't really have two different bats or not. So.
Cal, we kind of like to tease you a little bit because you'll hit, a home run from one side and the other, and somebody will ask you about it, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Not bad.
Do you ever get anything where you're like, yes, like, oh, that got me fired up and display emotion? You had a streak going, throwing people out last year. That was pretty cool. Awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess
that's pretty cool.
Guys got me there. I will say when I get in Fenway Park last year, when I hit one from both sides of the plate in the same game, that one was special.
And
so.
you were the only catcher to ever do that, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only catcher, so
that's awesome.
That one was special. My grandma was there.
Cool.
Obviously grew up a Red Sox fan and got over the monster. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's really cool. It's not just pretty cool.
There we go.
Yeah, nothing will top that time in the clubhouse after you hit the clincher. And I said, you just created a moment that people talk about for decades, man. It's going to be Seattle history. And you go, that's pretty cool.
At the time, I didn't even realize what I did. I blacked out. I couldn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I had no idea what had just happened. That was an amazing moment, though.
We love it, man. I mean, that's what you should be like. I mean, you're a catcher. You got these pitchers. My favorite thing you ever did is when you went out and lit up Matt Brash.
Oh boy,
I love that so much, man. It was like, you're like, I'll do the talking.
We're going down Cal's greatest hits here that weren't hits.
Yeah.
His interactions.
Yeah.
When Jen Mueller told it was like, when are guys going to stop trying to run on you? You'd thrown some people out and you go, I don't know. I mean, they're allowed to try if they want. You were just very literal about it.
They can keep going if they want.
Yeah, you're just very serious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to them.
Sure.
If they want to, that's their prerogative.
Well,
right?
maybe my favorite was when you're in the minor leagues and I think you got tossed because somebody was squeezing, one of the ump was squeezing your pitcher. I love that, though. I mean, you're sticking up for your guys. You don't do it all the time. And that's the thing. If you do it all the time, nobody pays any attention.
It starts to lose the effect.
Yeah, you got to pick your moments.
Yeah, you pick your spots. I do remember that. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I forgot about it. Yeah, our bullpen coach now, Tony Arnerich, was filling in for Chris Negron, who's our first base coach. He just had twins, and that was like his first or second game. Filling in, and he had to come out and get me. He ended up getting tossed too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so that was a really funny moment. But yeah, I mean, I lost my patience that night. That's for sure.
And I feel like every pitcher in the world is like looking at you, going, "Oh, that's my guy, man." I mean, you were standing up for your pitcher. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, he was taking it out on the pitcher. In reality, he shouldn't have been. I don't even remember who the umpire was, but.
You were having none of it.
I was having none of it. He needed to hear something, so
awesome.
He did.
How is Logan still the favorite target? He seems. We talk to him every year. He's the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. He seems to be just. He takes everything in stride. Like people just love to bust his chops, and I know you're part of that. Is he still your favorite target?
He's the easiest target. I mean, I don't know.
Is he starting to bark back at all, or does
he does. I mean, the guy. He's grown a lot, and he gets made fun of because he's so gawky and awkward, and he does all his weird,
his gadgets,
ball, and everybody knows about that. So he gets a hard time, but he's learned to give it back a little bit, and he's grown from where he was in the minor leagues to where he is now is crazy as far as how much he's grown and kind of matured in that sense, and he's done a great job with it, but definitely a really easy target.
Service told us he got kicked out of the band.
Yeah, he couldn't stay in the band. The guy bought a guitar he bought a guitar right before he threw his first complete game in San Francisco.
Okay.
So he took the I don't know, he like took the early bus or something. Wasn't even at the field. Like, walked across the street to a guitar store, goes and buys a guitar randomly, brings it back to the field. I'm like, what's that in your locker? He's like, I just bought a guitar. I'm like, that's what you did? Because usually pitchers don't show up on the first bus or show up first at the field especially when they're not pitching. So I'm like, that's what you did? He's like, went and did it, and they threw a CG. I was like, all right.
Go buy another one.
Go buy another one. I was like, you do whatever you need to do. But, yeah, it's been like it's probably been more than 6 months now, but he's not very good at the guitar.
No.
He had a ukulele when we were in the minor leagues.
He did?
Really?
Yeah.
How was he on that?
Well, he doesn't play it.
No.
I never did. He knew, like, Over the Rainbow or something like that. That was it.
Did you smash it over his head? Because
I
you guys were
wanted to.
roommates, right?
We were literally roommates. We were in
Right.
the same room, 2 twin beds. So it's like,
Oh,
that's like old school. Like,
Yes, it is.
that's not just like, okay, he's in another room. No, he was in the room. I'm trying to sleep, and he's playing the ukulele. And it's just,
you guys are like stepbrothers there.
I'm like, dude, you
Two
gotta
bunk
stop
beds.
that.
I'm going to punch you square in the face.
I know. It's literally what it was like in the Step Brothers scene.
Speak of the
Just
devil.
like
There he is. Speak of the devil. Yeah.
He's got a modeling show now.
The king of the ukulele right there. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Something like that.
Hey, working with a new catcher here, a new guy who'll be backing you up in Semi Savala. Do you work with him much, or is that more on the coaches? What's your interaction like?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be on the same page. Obviously, he came in a little bit before spring training started, and he got to kind of meet the coaches, meet me, kind of see how we run things as far as scouting goes and reports, stuff like that. So we kind of gave him an insight early on, and then obviously all camp, his job is to learn the pitchers in and out, and I'm trying to help him out as fast as I can, and he's starting to pick it up, and he's a smart guy. He's been around the league, and he's got great pitchers as well, and we kind of bounce ideas off each other and listen to him. He listens to me, and try to give him little cues here and there. Each guy trying to give him a little tidbit about, hey, this is something that kind of gets him back in line, or this is something that is kind of, if he's going to fall, it's going to be this way, or if he's going to start going bad, it's going to be because of this. So anything that I can try to do to help speed it up is going to be good. But he's been great. Everybody loves him so far.
Cal, we always appreciate you, man. We love
Thanks,
you, man.
Cal.
And,
Thank you guys.
it wouldn't be spring without talking to you, so we appreciate you coming over.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.